Hi and welcome to the Unquendor Guitars workshop. My name is Daniel and in this video series I'm working on a new model guitar, and today it's time to carve the neck. In the previous episode I made the headstock break angle and I prepared the fretboard. And first thing to do is to decide on the final headstock thickness, and then it's important to know if you want to use a veneer or not. So I made a mock-up veneer off camera and I decided to go with a veneer. I think it looks better with a nice piece of black limba veneer. The body is also going to be black limba. So now I have my veneer and I have my tuners. So now I can measure out the final thickness of my headstock and cut it out on the bandsaw and then start marking out the rest of the neck shape. To figure out the headstock thickness, I always make sure I have my tuners so I can measure the clamping range on these tuners, and these are nice spurtle or spretzel tuners, and the max clamping width or thickness on these tuners is 16 millimeters. And the minimum thickness is 13, so just over 13. So I'm aiming for my headstock thickness of about between 14 and 15 millimeters. I'm going to aim for 15 with a 2 millimeter veneer. So I have to mark out 13 millimeters for my headstock. So I've got everything drawn out. I've got my 13 millimeter headstock thickness, the volute, 22 millimeter thickness on the first fret, and I can always thin the neck a little if required, but I'm starting with 22 millimeters. And then 24 millimeters at the 12th fret. And of course I've drawn in the heel of the neck. And it's going to be an awkward shape to carve, but we'll see when we get there. Yeah, and now it's time to cut everything out on the bandsaw. So the neck is roughly cut, and you might have noticed in the clip I had some troubles with my bandsaw again, had to switch blades a couple of times, but yeah, in the end I've got a nice result. And to help me keep the neck as square and level as possible to the table saw, or to the table of the bandsaw, I attached just 2 pieces of scrap wood that allowed me to keep the neck as square to the blade as possible. And now also with this piece of multiply attached to the neck, which is one side is parallel to the center line of the neck, I can go over to my spindle sander and finalize the thickness and the shape of the back of the headstock. So the headstock is sanded to thickness. It's nice and consistent all the way around, and I've got a nice even curvature into the volute. I think this trick is by far the most valuable tip I can give you guys by using your spindle sander in this way to do jobs like this. It saves such a lot of time, and it's so easy to do with an absolutely perfect result. So if you have a spindle sander, yeah, give this a try. So I've clamped the neck to my neck carving jig, and before I can start rounding over the neck shape, I'm going to make sure the back of the neck is absolutely flat and dead straight. and I'm going to use some Shinto and my Iwasaki carving files, yeah, to get rid of all the marks left by the bandsaw. So I've got the back of the neck flat and straight, as straight and flat as I can get it without using a plane. And now it's time to start rounding over and get the C shape I'm looking for. I've already drawn in a center line and I divided the neck in a couple of sections, which allows me to start faceting the entire neck. And the first cut I'm going to make is a 45-degree angle. I'm going to divide this section, both halves of the neck, in half again, take that measurement to the side of the neck so I get a 45-degree angle, cut it out, and then I'm going to use my diagrams again. If you've seen my previous video on shaping a neck, I explain these diagrams more in depth, but it shows me how to make my facets, my cuts. So the first one is this 45-degree angle right here, and the second one is coming from the center of that facet to the center of the leftover piece, the back of the neck. That's my second cut, and do that again from the second facet I've created to the center again, so I can create this nice shape. And then I'm going to, of course, use sandpaper to round it over and to make it nice and smooth. So here we go. I've got my C shape in. It's very nice, very comfortable, very smooth. Yeah, I'm very pleased with how this turned out. And now it's time to start carving the volute and the heel of the neck. I can't finish it because I'm going to blend it into the body, but I can make a start with carving out this entire section, so I don't have to do as much when attached to the body. So I don't know if it shows up on camera, but I've drawn in a circle, the shape of my volute on this side of the neck, and now I'm going to knock off these corners and try to blend the drawn circle with the rest of the neck to get a nice smooth transition between the neck and the headstock. This must be the most elaborate heel I ever carved thus far, but I really like how it looks. It's very complicated shape and it's very comfortable. I can easily reach the highest frets without the heel being in the way, and I know I have to take off about a centimeter and a half when I join it into the body, but that leaves me with enough material to really blend this in with the body and have a very nice and comfortable heel to have access to the highest frets. Yeah, I'm really pleased with how this neck is turning out, so yeah, let's continue. I thought I had a bit more time to work on the neck this week, but unfortunately this is where I have to leave it. In the upcoming episode, on next Monday's episode, I'm going to radius the fretboard and maybe even do the 12 fret tulip inlay. Yeah, that's it. I hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, please leave a like. It really helps out a lot and I really appreciate it if you did leave a like. If you have any comments, any questions, please leave them in the comment section down below and I'll do my best to answer them as soon as possible, or maybe incorporate the answer in an upcoming video. And if you're new to my channel, welcome. Please consider subscribing to don't miss out on any of my future uploads. Yeah, I hope you enjoyed it and I hope to see you in the next episode. But until then, have a nice week.